everyone, this is Manisa the Poet, your diamond in the rough in the city, still looking pretty. Coming to you guys today with yet another coronavirus quarantine video. This video is parallel to the videos that I released prior to, and today I want to dedicate this video to Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor was a young lady that was murdered in March in a police raid on her home. Now, the police believed that the home they were raiding was of two drug dealers that were receiving packages, and they were incorrect. It was not only not that situation, but it was a young lady who's a young emergency technician who was doing what she needed to do in life. There was her boyfriend resting in their bed, believing that they were victims of a home invasion. So as they bust in the door, a police officer got injured, and they wound up charging her boyfriend with attempted murder, which the charges were later dropped. So the charges were dropped, but Breonna was ultimately deceased. So her boyfriend is fighting it, and fighting the case in terms of legally suing them. Her mom and her family has a wrongful death suit. So money doesn't bring back a person, and since today is her birthday, the day she was born, I want to say, just like the rest of the world, we did not forget you. You will not be forgotten. You did not die in vain, because maybe in this situation it was a teachable moment for the people who had the power to do the job that didn't do their job correctly, which is to, even though you bust and find out exactly who you are harming in the process and what the situation is. Other than that, I also want to say that I pray for the families of Sandra Brown and other women who were murdered. The reason why I'm addressing women is because we often hear about men being wrongly accused of things, falsely arrested, harmed, murdered for things they didn't do, but there's also women. I say that this is predominantly in the African American community, and I'm not being racist. I just say that because it's actually true. Me being a person who encountered it, I'm glad that I walked away with my life. At the end of the day, I don't put a negative stigma on any job. There are good and bad in every job, as I said in my previous videos. So don't get it twisted. Don't misconstrue my words. I'm not saying all police are bad, and I'm not saying they're all good, but there are some out there feeding their families and doing their job correct. I feel like in life we need balance, so my story time today will be a bit of balance. I told you about my bad experience, and believe me, there's a couple more, but here's a good experience. I was driving from one of my favorite eateries in City Island, and on my way back home, I was coming upon the Grand Concourse. I'm literally a block away before someone is passing me with booming loud music, to the point where you feel like you almost going deaf. So I hit a car, the police car, woo, 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 coming out. And as they're coming up, I'm thinking, let me get out the way, because this is what I was always told when they're in pursuit of a vehicle. So we all shoot through the red light, and as I'm coming up the hill, the police officers pull me over. So I'm like, okay, not knowing what it's like to be pulled over, because this was my first time being pulled over. I get out of my car and I put my hand on my hip and I say, what are you guys pulling me over for? So mind you, the police officer is like, get back in your car, ma'am. And he's yelling at me and being kind of really nasty. And I hadn't been nasty, I just didn't know what they were pulling me over for, and I didn't have a nasty attitude. So his superior got out the car, which happened to be his lieutenant or sergeant, and I don't remember quite what the stripes was, but I knew he was over him. And he said to me, yeah, you can't do that, miss, but what's going on? I said the reason why I basically went through the light with you guys is because I thought that you guys were gonna pull over the man with the loud music. I didn't miss a turn, miss a signal. you know, prior to going through the light with you guys, I hadn't done anything wrong, so I had no reason to believe you guys were pursuing me. And me working for the city and knowing the system, I basically just feel like if you guys are gonna issue me a summons, you know, issue me a summons or a ticket, I'll take it, you know. But at the end of the day, I feel it's unfair because honestly, I wasn't doing anything wrong. So he said, you know what, you got some balls. He said, I like it. I said, for the type of job that I do, I have to have it. So he said, okay, show me your ID. I showed him my ID. And he basically said, she's good, let her go. Now, a lot of people are not that fortunate. I'm fortunate to have walked away with my life. I felt very blessed. And today is the day to remember that. George Floyd is not going to go on. His life did not go on in vain. There'll be a lot of lessons learned that come out of this. I'm glad that the officers are arrested and they will be tried and convicted. We want to see this go through because it hasn't in so many past times. All that we are really seeking and asking for is justice. It's not a matter of racism, it's a matter of human rights. When I say racism, it's because most people think that black people are overreaching when things like this happens. And these are human lives being lost, families without fathers, mothers, and a lot of good people. Not all, because there's no all in life, but a lot of good people have been lost. Just as in anything, they seek justice. So why should the officers have any difference? They need to be trained better and they need to do their jobs better, because if they did, they would actually be able to tell that they are coming up on someone who doesn't deserve to die. That lieutenant took his time to do so with me, so I'm appreciative for that. And I hope that more protocols come into place that allows them to do their job better. But then you have a lot of people that do the job that's in fear. So like in any job that I say that you do, you should do it only when you can do it, when you have the stomach for it or you have the temperament for it. And if you don't have the temperament for it, you shouldn't do it, because innocent lives get lost. So at the end of the day, without being repetitive, this has been Manisa the Poet, your diamond in the rough and the city. Thanking you guys for listening. Praying for the families who have lost their loved ones.